What up, this your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're watching Lights Out.
This is Faisal Khan for Lights Out, proudly sponsored by Spartans Law. Delighted to be joined by Kalle Sauerland. Kalle, how you doing, mate?
How you doing, mate? You doing well?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm all right. Gonna play a bit of poker, Kalle, just like we did last time. I'm the guy that like
blackjack, but we can do a bit of poker, yeah.
Right, Kalle. First of all, how confident are you going into Saturday night ahead of this fight with Liam Williams and Chris Eubank?
Extremely confident. I think they're both. They must have both had good camps now, and you know they're both talking fight. They're both looking in fight mode. I know Junior obviously in and out, and from before fight modes, and he's in business as usual mode. You know, don't make too much of the banter going back and forth from his side. It's not really affecting him at all. I think it will G him up a bit. I think boxing in front of all the Welsh fans on Saturday will, you know, they'll bring out the dragons and what have you, but I think that Junior will spur him on, and I think Liam is going to bring a great fight. You know, I truly believe it's going to be a great fight, and Liam's going to come with everything he has, and I just think that he'll fall slightly short.
What did you make of the gloves are off, and of course what happened after the press conference? Liam seems fired up. Is he mentally trying to get into the mind of Chris Eubank?
Yeah, I mean, the gloves are off. I thought it was very fantastic viewing. You haven't seen it, go and have a look at that. That's cracking viewing. I've watched it 3 times myself. I thought it was just interesting the way they picked on each other, and you know, the back and forths. But at the same time, you see that when they were separated on the after the face-to-face, you know, it was sort of, you know, Liam had a dig at him. Whether that dig was premeditated, did he know that he was going to do that today and he wanted to put that on him at some stage? I don't think so, because I think he would have done it during the face-to-face more. It was afterwards, after they'd been separated. So I think that came out of a bit of frustration that he wasn't getting the feedback on his verbals that maybe he was expected to get. He certainly was in a much more aggressive mood, which you would expect compared to the first presser in London when we kicked all this promotion tour off. So I'll tell you what, that face-off tomorrow after the weigh-in, that's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, it adds more sauce to it, especially with the crowd, the Welsh crowd in attendance. This is Chris's 3rd fight with Roy Jones Jr. And of course, this is a even more interesting one, because I would say it's probably the biggest test so far of his career whilst being trained under Roy Jones Jr. And one of the most interesting facts about this fight, I feel, is that in Liam's corner is Chris's former trainer, Adam Booth. Now, if anyone knows Chris better than anyone right now, it's not only Roy Jones Jr., but it's also Adam Booth. Do you think that might just give a sort of slight advantage to Liam going into this fight, Kalle?
Listen, I mean, I think Adam's a fantastic trainer, one of the best out there, but I'll be realistic about it. What's he had to work with him? 5 weeks? 6 weeks? Since he made the change? Max. Because over an injury, he was out before. So, you know, unless they've been working 24/7, day in, day out, which is physically impossible in the sport of boxing, no, I don't think so. I think Adam can bring great strategy to Liam's corner, 100%. I'm sure he'll have a perfect strategy. But a strategy in boxing is different to any other sport, because you're going in against attrition. So if the strategy is to box, that's fantastic. But what happens when you know it's not working and you get having shots landed on you? What do? You resort to what you are. So you can have the best strategy, but if you can't change that strategy during the fight, then and it's a losing strategy, then you're sort of you're back in one horse. So let me explain better. So if let's say the strategy from Adam would be that Liam boxes him. He boxes him 2-3 rounds. Eubank keeps walking through him, and there's no success. What are they going to do? Go plan B? So now you're telling me that in 5 weeks there's a plan A, a plan B, a plan C. I know boxing too well to know that you can't do that in that amount of time. Impossible. So what does Liam do? He goes back to what Liam does best, and that's to come forward. So yes, there might be some fancy-wancy strategy in place for Saturday night, but I do think we'll end up seeing two gladiators who know how to come forward and go for it. That's what I think.
Is it fair to say that this is potentially the last fight, given if Chris Eubank can win, before the Golovkins, the Maratas, the Andrades, the Charlos, and maybe even that rematch with Billy Joe Saunders?
Yeah, I mean, I think from this point on, this fight included, they're all big fights. We took the tune-ups last year. And that's no disrespect. I think Marcus Morrison was a bit more than a tune-up. I thought he had a good fight. But it was also, you see that learning curve, and I just talked about Adam Booth not being able to implement his strategies as a trainer in 5-6 weeks, whereas Roy has worked with Junior now for a couple of years, and they've had those couple of fights. Now people said, "Oh, why are you taking those fights?" Well, it's part of the learning curve. Yeah, it's part of the training camp, the fight, the afterwards. Okay, that went right, that went wrong, and even against lesser opposition, stuff goes wrong. And from that point on, it was very clear that this was supposed to be in December, so this was supposed to be the big year. Hey, we kick it off now, February the 5th, and then we move on from there. But yeah, of course, this year's all about big fights. So's next year, by the way, as well.
I know I haven't got much of your time, so final question will be about your man Felipe Hrgovic. What on earth is going on with Felipe Hrgovic?
Yeah, look, it's crazy.
That's not a dig at Felipe Hrgovic, by the way.
No. I think I would hope that everyone understands what you're saying. No, I mean, look, this is the third time now we've gone through the full top 10. The third time that people have checked us about and said no and this, that and the other, and said, oh, it's a bit. One boxer came out, I'm not going to go into names again, but one came out and said there wasn't enough money. No, we haven't mentioned any money yet. And by the way, if you don't like the money, there's a purse bid. So if there's a purse bid, on a purse bid situation, you will find out what your value is. Yeah, so don't worry about the money. Anyways, we're down to now, the latest is we're down to Zhang from China and McKean from Australia. They got the letters. Zhang has applied for another 24 hours to get a full translation of it. It's only a short letter, but hopefully someone takes up that wedding invitation.
Well, fingers crossed you can find an opponent for him as soon as you can, because I know you must be getting really frustrated sitting on the sidelines waiting to get back in the ring. But Kalle, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, mate.
Didn't get to play too much poker, but hopefully we'll play a little bit more after Saturday night, and best of luck. And we look forward to speaking to you soon.
Thank you, mate.